Hi, I'm Daksha Bhaskar, and I would like to welcome you to my session, Stir, Shake, and Sip to Stop Robocalling. As tax season is upon us, we can expect to see a surge in robocalls on this topic.
This call is officially a final notice from IRS, Internal Revenue Service. The reason of this call is to inform you that IRS is filing a lawsuit on your name because you had tried to do a fraud with the IRS Internal Revenue Service, and we are taking a legal action.
Sounds all too familiar, doesn't it? Con artists use robocalling and caller ID spoofing to impersonate IRS officials and then convince the victim to send cash to pay bogus tax bills. Dirty Dozen is an annual list compiled by the IRS that lists a variety of commonly encountered scams by taxpayers. And since 2014, phone scams continue to hold a steady spot on this Dirty Dozen list. According to the Treasury Inspector General of Tax Administration, over 12,000 victims have collectively paid over $63 million because of phone-based tax scams since October 2013. So illegal robocalling is the #1 consumer complaint in the US, UK, and Canada. The number of attacks continues to grow, and this is because the cost of making phone calls has decreased significantly. Open source software capable of making robocalls with configurable source numbers is easily available, and a single computer hooked up to the web can make thousands of calls an hour. There were about 5.1 billion robocalls placed in November 2018 alone. That's 1 month, with a little less than just half of them being related to scams. Americans were scammed out of several billions of dollars in 2017. So why has technology not solved this problem? Well, it's complicated. Robocalls are not all bad. And then there's caller ID spoofing. Let me explain. When ET repeatedly tries to phone home with a pre-recorded message and keeps dialing your number without your consent, that's unwanted robocalling. When you see ET displayed on your call display and you hear Mr. Dog on the line, that's caller ID spoofing. Caller ID spoofing allows someone to display a phone number that is different than the number they are calling from. To add to this, not all spoofed calls are robocalls, and not all robocalls are spoofed. And then there are legitimate uses for both caller ID spoofing and robocalling. All of these factors make it challenging for technology to detect and flag only the illegitimate calls. One of the underlying problems to effectively blocking illegal robocalls is that they use caller ID spoofing, and this makes it challenging to validate the origin of a call. Stir Shaken addresses exactly this problem. Stir, which is Secure Telephone Identity Revisited, is a standard that defines a set of protocols used with SIP for applying digital signatures to the telephone numbers of calling parties. Shaken is a framework to implement Stir. In practice, there are many potential ways to deploy a protocol in a network that could lead to different implementation by each service provider, leading to interoperability issues. Shaken provides implementation guidelines defining how Stir can be implemented by network equipment vendors and service providers to support interoperability. But most importantly, Stir Shaken provides the foundation for the development of real-time authentication of a telephone number, which can help address illegal spoofing and robocalling. And regulators in several countries expect Stir Shaken to be implemented this year. Here is a very high-level conceptual diagram of the Stir Shaken framework. Imagine that Bob wants to call Alice, with both parties using SIP endpoints. Bob's user agent originates a SIP invite and places a telephone number in the request, and then sends the request to the authentication server for his domain. The server authenticates Bob, and validate that he's authorized to use the telephone number he populated in the invite. The authentication server then constructs a digitally signed identity token, signs it, and includes it in the SIP invite sent to Alice's domain. When the verification service receives the request, the signature is verified by accessing the public keys in the certificate repository. When the validation is successful, the call is sent to Alice's user agent. If the validation is unsuccessful, then the call may still be sent to Alice with a flag or drop, depending on how the policy is set up. So in this session, we will take a deep dive into the STIR/SHAKEN reference architecture and look at details of how the solution works. We will take a look at security architecture considerations that will enable us as security professionals to effectively partner with our voice colleagues in this battle against robocalling, and we will be able to secure implementations of STIR/SHAKEN that may be underway. I look forward to meeting you at my session, STIR/SHAKEN SIP to Stop Robocalling, session ID STRF01 on Friday, March 8th at 8:30 a.m. at RSA 2019. Please register now, and I'll see you there.